Welcome back to Bulletproof Mindset, Scotland's #1 health, fitness and entertainment podcast. So today's episode is a juicy one at that. We talk about current events. We talk about a load of shit, in all honesty. Now, as always, this is our opinion, and our opinion isn't the be-all and end-all. And if you agree with us, I would probably say that you're maybe wanting to seek out of it. The main part of today's episode is seeking out the opposing argument to whatever you think. But we talk about the recent disqualification of a powerlifter who didn't agree with the trans man, the man who transitioned into a woman.
Yeah.
So, man, is that the right saying, right?
Yeah.
I want to be very careful on how I say this. But we talk about that whole scenario. Should sports be equal to men and women? Why aren't they? And how our current environment really does shape our opinions and who we are as human beings.
Yeah, it's quite an insane episode, to be fair. When we were making this intro, we actually forgot fully what we spoke about.
That was everything. That was everything. James talked about his sore knee and how
there's
the bad times bring good times.
Aye, that's one of the bad times bring good times, and we're just going to let you get right into it. But obviously, first, even although this isn't a full fitness episode, we do have a brand new workout plan. It's fucking shit hot.
Get it downloaded. For the month of November, we're running a 30% off, and you also get the chance to come around here to the studio in Airdrie and get free face-to-face personal trainings from myself and James. So it's an insane opportunity. It's only happening for this month of November. You've got about 15 days left to claim that, so use code StartingStrong30. The link for that is going to be in the description of this episode.
And we get it's coming up to Christmas, but there will be a free plan as well. But this plan, well, the actual good plan.
Aye. What one? What plan? We've got that many plans. So we've got a free 30-day workout program that you can download if you want to get a taste of what our style of training is. And if you're kind of bought into the idea of getting stronger, more resilient, training full body and getting the most out of your workouts, then download our Starting Strong 12-week program. The links are going to be below the show.
One of the biggest problems that a lot of people do have that we come across is lower back pain. We actually met two people today and they were complaining about lower back pain. That's also why, in the link in the description below, we have a free lower back guide to fully bulletproof your body. But this podcast is about bulletproofing your mind.
And with that, today's episode will definitely challenge your mindset.
Yeah.
So with that being said, enjoy today's episode.
What's happened, Shagger?
Not a lot. What day are we on? Friday? Fun day?
You lost?
Lost?
Aye.
Nah. Don't know what's up with me. Nothing's up with me.
Something's up with you?
How?
You just said?
No, it's because you caught me off guard. I was like, I don't know. I was in the ring zone. Not stressed. Nah. Don't know.
Mate, it's an open space here.
Open. When I say I'm stressed,
Good.
that I'm not stressed. I'm just, I don't know. See, when you build a to-do list and you're like, right, that's a good list.
Aye.
And then you go to start tackling the to-do list, but the to-do list starts growing. You're like, what am I doing? I'm doing a lot of work, but it's not getting smaller.
Yeah.
It's been like the last couple of days that I've not replied to, like, I've got a couple of like outstanding like inquiries and programs to tweak for clients and stuff like that. So I need to get the finger out tonight.
Good.
I'll clear the ground and then have a good weekend with stuff that we need to work on in the business.
Are we doing hanging on Sunday?
Sunday? Mushrooms?
Aye.
No Sunday. It will not be Sunday.
What?
It will not be Sunday. It's Cooper's birthday. I'm going to a beach.
Fucking hell, man.
Cooper is my son, mate.
I
Remember this?
know.
He is my boy.
I know, that's shite, man.
Can date it Monday. Can date it Sunday night if you want.
We'll do it fucking Monday.
How?
What?
We're PTs, mate. There's no such thing as weekends. We can take whatever day we want.
Off.
That's a good thing about being self-employed.
As in Sunday night, what time?
I don't know I honestly don't know what my schedule's like.
See Cooper, man. Get a grip. He's treated it better than Mace fucking Wayne's.
I know. He is. See, can't believe he's 3, mate. It's a short space of my life.
I know. I do agree. I know. I remember having dogs and I go, I love you so much.
We were gonna go to Arn, but the ferries are cancelled.
Are they?
Technical issue.
Right.
Imagine being stuck in that island now. Can I get back?
It might actually be quite nice.
I get away from you.
Aye.
Have you been to Arran?
Nah.
Should go.
Where is it?
You get the ferry
Is it
from
West Coast?
Aye. you get the ferry, 45 minutes ish, and then there's a nice hill to climb there.
Imagine, right? I couldn't imagine living there full time. That'd be hard, wouldn't it?
You're just like, I think there's only like 5,000 people on the island or something like that.
Like, you've not got many people to have sex with. No, but you don't. Imagine
your cousin, your brother.
you fancy one person who rejects you, you go, I'm fucked.
I know that the wee villages and all that, but everybody knows each other.
Yeah.
But 5,000 people is a lot of people as well, remember?
No, it's a decent amount.
Like, think about like the people that you know and you're attracted to. It's like 6.
I know, but but it's no, that's not in your age bracket. It's no 5,000 people in my age bracket.
True.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't. It's not even just about like. I mean, imagine having pals. You struggle. Imagine they were all wanks.
You
go,
stuck.
fuck's sake.
I bet you wouldn't know any different. That's the thing.
I know.
That's where technology comes in a wee bit, because you start seeing. Because that's how I started listening to podcasts as well, and I was like, oh, I wish I had some pals who thought like that. You start thinking about, like, because you're hearing
like
different stories. Like, you're just hearing different stories of what people do in California, for example, and you're sitting and living in Glasgow, like, my life's shite.
Aye.
Where's my sunshine? I wish I could go down to the beach.
That'd be class.
Definitely a lifestyle.
That is actually a genuinely like shit hot lifestyle.
I hate sand.
Doesn't it? But what?
I hate sand.
I mean, do you think the novelty would wear off, or do you think vitamin D consistently is class? Do you know what I mean?
Oh no, definitely think that'd be all round good.
All the time?
In a sunshine place?
Oh, aye.
Yeah.
Aye. Do you think you need a wee bit of cold though? Do you think you go on holiday to Scotland? Because they come here and go, this is class. You're like, what?
I know.
How the fuck's this class?
I don't know. What do you think you're going to do it next year?
What?
Like go away for a month and work away for a month?
I don't know.
Like
Maybe
see all them doing the Bali stuff?
Maybe no next year. I don't think my online will be ready for next year to do
You
that.
don't? No?
Nah. Not at the level. I'm quite enjoying training people in. Like, see, since I hurt my knee and being able to like really work on mobility, I go, right, how I think training people in person will only get me better and better and better and better at that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I'm 5 years since I trained my first person in person. I'm still learning. I get someday with.
And you're like, this is class. Do you know what I mean? So,
what's happening with your knee then? So why don't you update everybody?
So I went to physio, and it was quite.
Talk before that.
What?
Tell us what happened before that.
What do you mean?
Like mindset, where you were.
Rough.
Aye.
It was rough.
Was. Was poking a wee bit of fun last time in the podcast, saying, "Oh, Scott's your identity and that," and I think you left and was like, "You're right. I'm a nobody."
Yeah, but the thing is, it actually is, and I already knew that, and I felt shite. But do you know, right? For anybody listening, my mindset's totally changed on that. Like, I realised that the bad days bring good days at one point if you get through them, right? So I was like, right, what can I do right now? I'm not going to feel good for a wee bit because I know I'm not going to be able to train properly. So I was like, right, my shoulders aren't the best. So let's fix my shoulders. And I go, fuck man, I got under the bar of the day and I could get my shoulders right undone. Only better to get. And then what else could I do? I could probably look at my clients' plans and see what I could add in that I'm probably missing for myself and them. And I've been looking at that and I'm going really happy. And I was like, right, 2 months left of the year. I want everything ready for 2024 in January just to be a clean year. Do you know what I mean? This year hasn't been the cleanest. You know what I mean? So I was like, right, what can I actually do to put everything together? And what other things can I do better for my mental and physical health? Put a couple of things into play and I feel really good again. Like, I was slacking a wee bit. Like, personally, I thought I was slacking. And I was say that to like one of my mates. He's like, you're not slacking. I was like, I'm slacking, mate. Like, I don't feel I could be doing a lot more. And I was like, how can I be more productive? Because I was like, what I was doing wasn't helping my wee brain. I was like, my wee brain was not alright with this.
With the knee?
No,
in general.
With the way I was doing things, I was like, I feel like I'm getting better the way I was structuring it. But it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, there's something no right with the way I'm doing it. It's just because it wasn't for my lifestyle or my wee brain, as I call it. So started writing, when I got up, I write a to-do list. First thing, I don't write it before I go to bed, because then I think about it. So I just go, I leave everything to the morning.
So alarm goes off.
Alarm goes off.
Out of bed.
I pee or a shite, and I weigh myself. And then I put my eggs on. And then I get in the cold shower. And I get out, have my eggs, and then when I'm having my eggs, I write my to-do list. Do you know what I mean? Very efficient.
And that to-do list, how well do you do tackling that?
So that's what I'm saying. It's so strange, right? It's fucking. But the thing is, I'm actually like, when I'm. I listened to Andrew Huberman one time, and I was like, "That's what I'm doing." So it was like,
I feel like somebody says something that you know in your head, but somebody that you respect says something. You're like, "Thank fuck he said that, because that is me." Brilliant. I feel better now. I feel better.
So I write a to-do list, and usually first thing in the morning I'll stick to it. But if it gets to hang with like further on in the day, basically he says if you're procrastinating, do something that you don't like more, and you'll do it.
Give me an example.
So if you are procrastinating with your check-ins, right, and you go, I really need to do the dishes, go and start doing the dishes.
Oh, you spoke about this before.
But I'm actually doing it. Like, I've actually done it unconsciously this week. So I can't mind what I was going to do. I think it was a tyre for it was something else, and then I went, you know what? Fuck it, I'm just going to put the tyre on the car, put the mats in the car. Went and done it. I was like, whoa, man. That didn't feel the same as going, I'm going to need to go out and do that tyre in the car. It's like, instead of doing that, I'll go and do that. And I felt a bit better about it. I was like, whoa, that actually felt all right.
I think it's just doing something that's completely different, because I cleaned my garage gym the other day. It's not that I needed to do it, or I wanted to do it, or I didn't want to do it. I just found myself like, I'm going to clean this gym. And I was like, I feel good. But I was like, I have 100 other things that could have been better use to my time, but that felt good doing that.
Do you think though? Because if you're doing something, like there'll come a point where you need to do some things, like it's a must.
Aye, but
like my client check-ins Friday morning, that's what I need to do.
That's what I mean, but there was definitely, if you put it in a priority list.
Fuck the priority list.
No, but cleaning the gym was down the bottom. Like, you know what I mean?
Aye, but it still needed done.
I know.
Did it need done?
We don't use it. I mean, Jill uses it from time to time. That's what I mean. It's like, it was
probably actually
it wasn't a pointless task, but it was just, I don't know, like I got a wee rush of dopamine hit.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, felt good.
So that's what I'm finding. Write a to-do list. I'll do half it. I won't do half it.
But hey.
But I'll still do.
Tomorrow's a new day.
But I'll still do. Like I'll actually swap some things out for other things.
Yeah.
I'll go, I actually could do that. That's probably a better idea. I'll go do that.
I'm sure we've said this in the podcast before, but writing a list is good, because you get all these things in your brain.
So I journaled last night.
What did you write in your journal?
I just wrote
to James.
No, I just wrote how like,
your diary.
Yeah, let me fucking speak. Let me fucking speak.
Oh fuck! Here we go. So what did you journal about?
No, I was reading up about journaling. I was like, how should you journal? What does it do? I was like, it's meant to cure your depression. I was like, cool.
So what have you to do in journaling? Like
anything. You do anything. You write anything.
What did you write?
You ask yourself questions for the day. You ask yourself, how was your day? What could you done better? What went well? You can write fucking anything. And I started writing. I was like, I stopped. I was like, oh. Started writing. I was like, oh.
How long?
I wrote for 20 minutes.
Did you?
Aye.
Fucking hell. Autobiography by James McGinty's coming out soon.
And I was like, well, that's been 20 minutes I've been writing. But I stopped. You would stop, and then something else come into your mind. I was like, that's actually probably better to get that out. And you write. I wrote good things. I wrote some shite things. I wrote what I'm going to do, and I was like, you know what? That felt fucking great. And the day I feel great.
Aye, that's what I mean. You're downloading your thoughts.
Aye, that's what you're getting it. You're getting anything out. And I was like, that was actually really fucking good. And so I'm going to get a wee notepad and actually start writing a journal. I didn't actually expect to enjoy it the first time. You usually see you do something the first time, you're like, right, that's a chore. But I try and make it a habit. You see, as soon as I started writing, I was like, this is actually quite good. And my handwriting got better as I kept going on.
Your handwriting?
See at the start, man, I was like, I couldn't read a thing. See in the second page, you could read it.
This is like when you get into adult life and you pick up a pen, you write something. Like usually it's a birthday card. You're like, I don't know how to fucking write. Like, how have I lost this skill?
I was like, I've lost this. I've lost this skill.
Do you join the letters? Do you write separate?
I just join everything later.
My handwriting is atrocious. But I use Notion for the to-do list.
Ross
Harold came in and he was like, just download your thoughts and that. And I was like, cool, so I'm writing, it's going and going and going. And I'm like, fuck me. And I was like, that's a long ass to-do list.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I feel better that it's on there. And now it's just tackling it.
See, as soon as I finished that journal, I was like, I'm actually glad that's it.
So productivity is obviously a big buzzword.
Yeah.
That's why, were you there this morning when Gavin was saying that about James Smith and
Aye.
Chris Williamson. So they've released a new nootropic drink to keep you focused and all this sort of stuff, which probably the two of them, I believe, would have integrity to kind of stand by putting decent stuff in it. But they're also businessmen as well, so they'll be capitalising on the opportunity of productivity is like the main sort of buzzword in that. What helps you become productive?
So like reading Stephen Bartlett stuff, it's like being sure of your goals. Maddest thing ever, actually forgot to tell you this. I was walking to the physio, 2 women are walking, and they're like, what's your purpose in life?
What?
No!
They stopped you just randomly?
I was walking past and I went, what's your purpose in life? No, excuse me, what's your purpose in life? And I walked past, I was like, did they just say, hold on? And then I walked back, I was like, excuse me, what did you say? Oh no, sorry, what's your purpose in life? And I was like, well, to be honest with you, I feel like my purpose is to help people get fitter, stronger and healthier. And they're like, oh, that's actually really good. And I was like, I stated that straight off the cuff.
What did they say back?
And they're like, that's great. Like, I was like, I'm a personal trainer. That's fantastic. And they were for America. Can't mind where for.
Of course they were.
Aye.
Of course they were.
They were like, we're over here like to spread our message about Jesus Christ. And that. I was like, I'm not religious. No.
See ya.
Bye. But I was like, no. I was like, that's my purpose. I was like, so where he's from? And they were talking, and I was like, that's fucking mad. And I was like, I'm not really religious. And they're like, oh, that's a shame. And I was like, but I'm like, I'm quite into energy and all that, but no, like fucking
spiritual.
Woo. I didn't say that to him, but and then they were like, what is one tip you would? So they've got like apprentices or whatever they call them, right? No apprentices, but whatever they call them.
Jehovah's Witnesses in a way. In a way, isn't it? It's like people that work
Jehovah's Witnesses is a completely different religion, mate.
What's that?
It's their own religion, isn't it?
I have no idea.
Near there. I could be an actual lying now.
I'll look up what we're telling
Aye. So she was like, what's something like from your job that you could say to my apprentice to give them more confidence?
Right.
And I was just like, one, just really know what they're doing and what they're saying. And 2, just go out and do it until they get better and better and better and better. I said they just need to get the reps in and just by time they'll just be better.
Right.
And then that's a good answer. I appreciate that. And I was like, you have a lovely day. And I walked away and I was like, that was fried. Do you know that way?
Where were they in? As like
no, we were just outside. So I was up Hamilton Main Street because that's where it was.
What the fuck are 2 Americans doing
in
Hamilton?
That's what I thought.
Places?
I was like, what the fuck? But they were nice.
Aye, of course they usually are pleasant.
But aye, they were just over to spread their message, Jesus Christ. They never actually spread me the message. To be fair, I was like, thank fuck.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not into that. I would never be into that.
Do you see these people preaching like God's message at the corners? It's usually in Glasgow, but I've seen someone.
But that's insecurity because they've got nothing else.
I don't know about that. I think they're that passionate. It's like they believe they're it's their job to communicate what they know to other people. Get people
I think on that level though, like you're like, if you're doing it to other people who aren't interested, like I understand why. Like, if you stopped me in the street and went, "Are you interested?" and you go, "Aye, let's hear it," and you go, "Right, cool." Are you interested? No, cool. Like it's the same thing.
Leave me alone.
Aye.
But like the trying when you're like, chill.
You're like, why are you pushing that on me? I would never push them the message of being fitter, stronger, and healthier. I just say that's my purpose.
Would you not?
What?
Do you not think there's a fine line to push that message in a way?
No one person like that. I think like try to get your messages across to people in certain ways, but no like being pushy. By the way, if you done this, it'd be much healthier. Do
you know? See that's frowned upon, but pushing the message of God and religion and all this, isn't it? Like, and it's weird because it, in a way, it's almost like people get their backs up and it's like, oh, you're shaming me. So no, but that's what you say. Like, I guess pushing's the wrong terminology.
Oh, you call me fat? Oh, you call me out of shape?
It's the wrong terminology because you don't want to push anything on anyone, but pull people in that. It's like, here.
You know for a fact, if somebody's no invested, they're never going to listen to what you're saying.
No.
They're actually going to be more put off by you consistently saying it.
That's why you need human connection.
That is. That's how it's a real struggle to be around about people like with that mindset these days for me. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm glad my dad and that have like changed because I was struggling. That sounds bad, but like you're like, I am.
It brings you down.
Aye.
When
Like
you're
I am.
around.
I am actually so big on it. When they asked me that question, I was like, nah, this is.
It's your
I'm fucking big on this
That's
now.
your identity.
Aye. This
Yeah.
is my identity, and I'm fucking massive on it now. I'm like, health is fucking so bad. Like I was walking about, and I was like, wow, man,
At the high streets.
Aye.
It's crazy.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck?
Do you think we should set up a billboard one time and just say, no, just speak to us about health and just see what sort of. It'd be good to do as like an experiment
Mm-hmm.
to see who is genuinely, and obviously where you go.
Who's thinking
depends.
about it?
Aye, like,
Who's actually deep down?
is it at the forefront of your mind?
Aye.
I
I think there's too many distractions now to be at the forefront of your mind.
Mm.
Because it was mad the other day, and you can agree with me or you don't, but like someone was saying to me, though, like it's just they were struggling with somebody in their family. This is going well off topic here, but like things are like hard, and I was like, they're like, because they was telling me the person isn't happy, and I was like, this might sound mad, and this is what I've learned this year. You're not always meant to be happy.
Aye.
Things are meant to be shite, but you're meant to learn from it. Do you know what I mean? And I see when I hurt my knee and I was feeling shite. As shite as you feel, and it's like you're like, I wish I was just doing what I wanted to do. You go, this is telling me to do something else.
Mm.
And I was like, and she was like, no, but are we not here to be happy? Am I not here to train to be happy?
Well, you can't be happy with it.
With
The
it
sad
at
times. Aye.
With it,
You
aye.
can't. You physically can't.
That's what I said. I says, are you happy when you're middle of that set? I was like, no, you're not actually happy. You're happy after it because it's painful. And I says, coming here on the hard days, you're not happy. I says, they're not meant to be happy. Because they were telling me things. I was like, I'm not going into it. But I was like, they're meant to fix things right now. And she was like, I actually understand that. I was like, aye, that's because we're all the same.
Yeah.
We're all meant to fix things.
Yeah.
And that might sound mad to say we're not meant to be happy, but we're not.
No, I don't think that's too controversial. I think when you say it out loud, you're like, that makes sense.
Aye.
Because if everything's good, it becomes the norm.
How do you know?
Aye, exactly. You
How
get
the fuck do you know?
Baseline, and it's that whole kind of grateful of you don't realize how good it was until it's gone type thing. Like even when you look back at COVID, like gaming all the time, and then you look back and you're like, that was actually quite class what you done there. But you didn't realise it in the moment. It was just a wee bit of
I did.
No,
I remember the days.
You're probably right. Aye, it was fun, like coming off and your cheeks were sore from laughing so much.
Mate, that's
You're like,
class.
what the fuck?
You're like, I hope I don't get asked back into work tomorrow.
Aye, what a weird part of our lifespan.
That has definitely affected the world, though.
Mm.
Big
Kids
time.
more than I think we realise it now.
Mhm.
I don't think we'll realise as much of what that done was. They're trying to fucking pull in our lockdown. I was talking about it all, like, see, because all the elections and stuff in America and stuff like that. Different states are starting to push mask mandates and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, what the fuck? He's back in 2020, it's 2023.
Oh, that was caused riots. I would riot. Would you riot?
I just straight up wouldn't listen.
Oh, no, I straight up wouldn't listen either.
I don't know if I'd have the passion to go and protest and stuff. Like, I
probably would.
I don't believe, I genuinely don't believe in
I know,
protest.
I don't think protests work.
See, it's almost the same as petitions. I'll write my name down, but like what I guess it's my own how naive I am, because I don't know. I never really follow up to go, what did signing my name on that piece of paper do for the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, it shows 1 million people are interested in doing X, but what's getting done about it? You know what I mean? Same with the protests. It's like everybody go to George Square and
there's no monetary value in a petition.
Aye, that's what I mean. It's like they show the thing, and it's like, right, okay, we need to do something about this, but does it actually help? But then I guess if you don't do anything as well,
It'll never help.
Aye.
Aye.
But Gio brought up a good point. So Gio is somebody who hires out the podcast studio, and I said to him, so the whole government restrictions on Airbnbs in Scotland just now.
How about that?
So you need to create a license, and they're trying to stop people from renting out apartments because it's getting too expensive and blah, blah, blah. And he made a good point about market conditions in free markets, which I don't think many people think about, but it's true. The best way we can vote and the more power we have is with what we spend our money on, right?
Aye.
So there's a reason why so much goes into marketing than it does the actual product itself, right? So take processed foods, for example. We know it's not fucking healthy for us, yet we still were bought into the marketing because of the engineering of the taste. Like, so much craft and creativity goes into it. Now, if we want more healthy products, we need to start buying more of it as a whole, as a society.
Aye.
That's why there's so many takeaway shops, why there's so many chippies. It's because it's convenience, it's easy.
It's
It's people.
fucking Apple shop.
Well, exactly. Or fruit and veg.
The actual fruit, no the fucking phone shop.
And it is so powerful. It's like free markets will dictate if it's good or wrong, good or bad, and bringing government or the council, like bringing the authorities into the mix.
Makes it even worse.
Like, what is one of the worst things we can do? Phone the fucking council. They've got no competition. Their service is shite. You need to use them. They can't get better. And what you got to do?
They charge fortunes.
We need to empty your bins. Nobody else can empty your bins. Like, if it's a general dispute like that. So, like, this is where healthy competition is good, and why free markets are almost one of the best ways to let things fix out for itself. So, me and you are PTing, and we're the only PTs that people can go to, and you are great and I'm a wee bit shit. Then that's going to dictate the flow of people that go to you. Now, if it's then only us two and we're both like giving a mediocre service and there's no other competition, then we can just keep charging what we want. But then someone else comes in the mix, is like, I don't believe in their style of training. We're going to do so this way, and we're going to do it this price. So people, then a flow of money goes to that individual, and then there's a bit more competition, and then you need to, as a byproduct, we need to compete against delivering a better service to bring in more people, or market better, or increase the efficiency of our product and that sort of stuff. So Elon Musk was talking recently about AI and that sort of stuff, and I honestly believe like there's a lot of jobs that's going to not be needed anymore because life will get easier and technology will get cheaper. Because
technology will be cheap as fuck, mate.
When you think about like pricing of things, obviously inflation goes up, but see like 3D printing and that, see if it becomes easier to get our hands on stuff, the price will come down, and there won't be a need for labour costs and all this sort of stuff. Like, it's mental. It's going to be a mad world in the next 10 years.
I agree, but what goes up must come down.
It does.
Do you know what I mean?
It does.
There can only be a limit to how much we can use that stuff while it works. But it crashes.
But I don't think it crashes because of the product. I think it crashes because people lose their sanity with things. Like,
that's what I was going to say.
Like, their purpose in life is, most people supposed to go to a job, get paid, do X, Y, and Z. And not having a strong purpose, man, you start going. Mental health will come out there. So,
like, I had a consultation the other day, and she was like, this TikTok showed me this.
And I was like, what she wanted?
No, like, she was like, oh, I didn't know that. This TikTok told me that. And I was like, look, it's actually a good thing that there's so much information out there, because the people who don't fully understand it will still be just as confused with no information or with too much information.
Yeah, it's information overload.
Yeah. So, like, you're saying, like, oh, this is like, I'm not saying this is nothing to do with AI, but it gets to a point where there's too much of something that it crumbles. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, but that's where we need to pivot as business owners or self-employed or personal trainers, coaches, whatever you want to call us. Because if something, like, I like the argument where it's like, well, I don't need a PT because I can get a workout plan. And it's like, yeah, you can, but you're also dictating what goes into that.
Aye.
And it will get us smarter where we can maybe question you and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, I don't know, I still feel experience is the thing that everyone misses.
Yeah.
It's like the scientific study can say the best way to grow your arms is doing that exercise. But do you have discomfort in your right elbow, and why is that the case? And realistically, can you go to the gym 5 days a week?
As soon as you're not 100% in that plan, it's not the plan for you, and you're fucked.
Like, how do you get coached on that from a technology standpoint? You physically can't.
You can't.
Human behaviour and emotions play a part in everything that we do, and that's what we need to go into. I don't even know what the fuck we're speaking about now. How we got into that, I have no idea.
I had no idea.
But one thing I did want to bring up today is banned cigarettes.
Aye.
14 years old.
Aye.
Right, like, going back.
Idiot.
No, right.
You fucking idiot.
He's calling me an idiot, and let's rewind to the conversation. I'm actually going to bring it up because I was like, you lost it? Have you actually lost it? So
I was like, are you so I don't even know the word.
Dumb?
No, no dumb. That wasn't the word I'm looking for.
When was it you said, right, here it's here, right, so James texts me randomly, 9:20 on Tuesday night. Fags have just been banned for anyone under 14 currently, forever. What do you mean? They've banned cigarette sales to anyone under 14 for life. So at this point, they'll be banned completely.
Right?
I'm still confused.
That made sense.
To be fair, reading this back, I'm like, all right, it does actually make sense. I'm still confused, bro. It was 16, was it not? Banned for life, forever. James said they can never buy them even when they turn 18. So that's when I was like, oh, I get you. So those born in 2012 can never buy cigarettes. Yes, bro. That's what you had to lead with. So if you're born in 19...
No, 19. Fuck.
2012. Oh, I left high. No, I got my first job at that. In BT at that age. So if you're born in 2012 onwards, you'll never, like your ID, you'll never be able to buy cigarettes.
But
What's your thoughts?
Fuck knows. It's going to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to police that?
I think it becomes, here, drug dealers listening, you're going to open up a way to start selling cigarettes in the black market.
That's all it'll be. It would just be done under the counter instead. There are probably as well selling them.
But I think there is a generational shift. So, see, when I went to high school,
mate, to be fair, MD under that age only smokes vapes anyway.
Well,
they won't even know what a fag is.
That's not too far behind when you think about it.
Oh, aye, that
like the vape will be the next thing. So I remember going to high school, right? And every person, first, second, third, fourth, sixth year, fifth and sixth year, like above me, didn't have to wear blazers. And we were the first year that came in. They said, we don't care about them. You guys going up through high school, you need to wear blazers. So it was like a given, like we had to wear blazers, and this was the thing. So the second years, blazer boys, blazer wankers. So we got all the fucking abuse. Third years, look at the wee blazer wankers. So we stood out like a sore thumb. And I remember getting to fourth year. So in fifth and sixth year, if you stayed on, you had to wear a blazer, right? So they never enforced that for the second, third, fourth years, which is interesting. But the time that we got to year 4, or the fourth year, I know you English listeners used it weird, but
don't even listen to this part.
So we're at primary school from P1 to P7, and then we go to high school or secondary school first year to fourth year, and you can leave from fourth year, and you can stay on fifth and sixth. So by the time we got to the fourth year, the first years wore blazers, the second years wore blazers, the third years wore blazers, and it was just normal. Now that school, everyone just wears blazers. So that's when I think with smoking, for example, it's a pure we'll never see it in a lifetime. We might catch it at the tail end of our life, depending on how long we live. But it will be interesting to see how that plays out, because it'll change for generations.
Oh, aye.
And it'll change in our
generation. But you'll pick something. You're going to swap that with something. Do you know what I mean?
I'd love to ask somebody that's in high school now, like what's smoking seen as for you now?
I've never seen any like generation smoke more than people who smoke vapes, because you can smoke them inside, outside. You smoke them anywhere.
I see when at Airdrie High School, when I'm going out, there's hundreds of them.
I know.
They're awesome. I'm like, what, you all smoking vapes, sir? You're in first year.
It's crazy.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a step in the right direction. They're
going hard, by the way.
I know.
This government are going hard on banning things.
But when you think about it, it's like, who the fuck this is maybe why I don't know if I want to take mushrooms, because I then think to myself, I'm like,
should take them now.
How fucking dare you tell me what to do? Why do you get the right to choose when I buy alcohol?
I actually say that to myself. See, when I write a to-do list the night before, why are you telling me what to do? And then I can't sleep, so I write a to-do list in the morning.
That's bipolar disorder.
I know.
What would you call your alter ego?
What
would you call your alter ego?
I get called Clark Kent in the gym the other day.
Clark Kent?
Aye. Because when he takes his specs off, he's Superman. Yes.
Oh, if there's one way to feed a man's ego, it's that.
Mate, every day, people don't even mean it, and I'm like, keep them fucking coming. Keep them coming. Let me fucking go, man.
Here's a question for you. If you were a superhero, what superpower would you want?
What superpower would I want?
Can only get one, right? What superpower would you want?
I don't watch superhero films. I don't even know.
But you know the basics, like flying, fucking invincibility, invisibility.
See, since I became a PT, I don't know, man. Before, man, I don't know. You go first and I'll fucking decide.
Mine's would be like the Flash, like be able to be
Run really
fast as
fast?
fuck. Aye.
For a bit.
Just I think that's like the best power.
Why?
I could just nip out to China then and come back and be like, "Boo, I can see the world quicker."
Right,
can-
but what did those run about you have?
Eh?
Did those run about you know have anything?
No, they're just normal people.
Oh, just you?
Mm.
Invisibility.
See, that's a pervy thing. I knew you would say that. I fucking knew you would say that. I want to be invisible. Why? So I can like steal money for the bank and stuff like that.
The bank?
Aye. Walk
Aye.
into changing rooms. You pervy bastard.
I'm going to stick with that.
Aye. Invisibility.
Answer locked in.
It would be invisibility. Would be interesting.
Mate,
'cause
you
would
could
just
see
sit in
hundreds
rooms.
of mad shit, mate.
No, you would just sit in rooms that I don't know.
Like, you think about it, there's so much mad shit in the world that we don't know about, and I could see it all. Get away with it.
But you'd have to go find it.
I know, but I don't actually think it'd be that hard to find. Going to Glasgow at night, man. Go down the fucking side streets and that. Got up with dodgy closes.
Just hear conversations that are going
You're
on.
like, what the fuck?
But I think banning cigarettes, fuck knows what the next thing will be. They're already trying to change the flavours of vapes.
Aye, I know. I don't really know. With that kind of thing, I think it's too hard to police, man. Like, I think it's been going on too long. But, like, back in the day, they could ban the things because the distribution of them we cut it off. And you need to go to that station and you
can press 2 buttons on your phone and you can be on a website.
Exactly.
Like, it's easy to buy.
Aye.
In fact, tell you one thing, like...
It's easy to manufacture. It's easy to buy.
If you look at... This is what I don't get as well. Where does cigars come in? Because it's about banning nicotine, isn't it?
Is it?
That's the whole point is banning cigarettes.
It's tobacco, is it no?
Tobacco, sorry, you're right, tobacco.
So, but I don't know if a cigar is tobacco, mate. I have no idea.
True. Maybe need to ask
it could be.
Andrew Tate lovers in the world. Just let us know. What was I going to say there? Yeah. So if you look at like cheating on a game, right, where you get cheats for a game, you have to write code and do everything fucking mad. This is what I mean. Like the world's evolving where it's so easy to get our hands on stuff. So I went back in the COVID days, you start running into cheaters and then more cheaters and more cheaters and that. I had the PC and I was like, how easy is it to get cheats? And I typed in Google,
cheats for COD,
aimbot for Warzone, and it was like top link, and I clicked on it. And I clicked on the next page and it was like free trial. I was like, that's a bit dodgy. And then it was like $2.99 for 24 hours. I was like, fuck it, let me try. Clicked, downloaded something onto my PC and then loaded up COD and I had it. Like 5 clicks of a button. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, that was way too easy. Don't know what my point was. Like, that's it. So coming back to cigarettes, like, it's like you ban them. No, it is, you ban them, you go in a website, you like buy cigarettes.
No, right now, you can't even I don't think they can ban cigarettes. Like, I would prefer people that didn't smoke cigarettes. I'm going to tell you a story and you'll be a wee bit upset, but it's actually quite good. So, the other week, I was like, you know what, I actually want a vape. I want to puff the vape in my house. I'm a wee bit bored. Went to the shop. They're like, ID. I'm at I fucking D. I'm fucking 26. Can't serve you without ID. I'm like, you know what? That was God telling me I don't need a vape.
Oh, really?
I was like, cool. So I didn't get one.
Interesting. Mad.
I was like, you know what? I want a vape. I want to go. And then, you know, I actually just said to myself, I was like, you know what? Something's actually telling me not to get that. So I went home.
Do you think it's stress coat? So what I then think about is those who end up smoking illegally. Is it nicotine's addicting? And tobacco. Is tobacco addicting? Maybe.
No, I don't know. With the nicotine is it in tobacco?
Aye, but like cigarettes is a very heavily addictive thing. It's very hard for people to give up.
Yeah.
What happens to those people? Because it's like you're grassing yourself in. Like you've been smoking. It's like, I need this. Well, you shouldn't be having them. Like,
I don't. Mate, that's why they're no banning them for everybody. Because mate, imagine the fucking outcry.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Do you know anybody who smokes like a chimney?
A chimney. A chimney. My mum's a heavy smoker.
Is she?
I've met clients who like smoke like 20 cigarettes a day.
What?
Aye. It's the money for me.
Mate.
The amount of money that you spend
It's
on
time.
Aye.
Imagine smoking 20 cigarettes. That's a long time to be smoking it all day.
Aye, it's mad. It's mad. I don't know. I just never have. I just thought it was a minging trait. And it's an ick for me.
That's
like,
an ick for me, mate.
If I sat down Jones like I smoked, I'd be like, doesn't matter how attracted I was to.
Aye. It makes him much less attractive. I agree. You'd be like, ugh. Stinky breath, not.
Right, today's episode, Q&A episode.
You
What
sure?
you got for me? Aye.
Aye.
Did you have a topic?
No, I did. No,
Remember that was
topic.
running for like 40 minutes beforehand.
Aye, 10. So, my topic is, right, I mean, I don't know how people will be invested in this, but it kind of goes into, we're not going to get too much into it. But basically, so powerlifting, the biggest powerlifting federation, put out a statement. Somebody in Canada has been banned for saying...
Somebody in Canada?
No, in the Canadian Federation has been banned from powerlifting for speaking out against a trans woman, or a guy who used to be... a woman who used to be a guy.
Right.
Right? Because I don't know what they would call it, a trans man, a trans woman, I'm not sure. So, but...
What, a woman who used to be a guy?
A guy...
Oh, a guy.
No, a woman who used to be a guy, who's competing in a woman, but used to be a guy. Right? Who's competing in the women's division.
Mm-hmm.
And basically a woman came out, and I don't know what she said, but she got banned for saying whatever she said for 2 years.
Mm.
And basically the IPF says we're looking into this. And the comments are 50-50.
Right.
The comments, 50% people saying she should compete, and 50% are people saying, how the fuck can she compete?
Mm.
Why the fuck is this person banned for saying this?
Mm.
And it's like you forget that this is actually happening.
Right. It's a very
real
heated
thing.
subject.
Aye. And it's like, what do you think?
So, have you seen the guy who, or previous guy who's now a woman, like compete in the, I think he ended up winning like gold medals and all sorts, right? I can't remember the person's name, but no to get into that. But the whole subject of a man who transitions to a woman to then compete in a sport, right? I think it's controversial and it's a touchy subject, and I understand the behavioural component and the emotional component behind it, that they want to be seen as women. I completely understand that and respect that, but what we need to factor in is there is a biological history component of, if you're born as a man, you have a very strong advantage of being stronger and bigger bones, more muscular tendons, and more overall strength. Now, that's not for me to say that there's not women who're stronger than men, but as men, from the male components biologically, there's things that play to our advantage. Absolutely. That's why there is more men in labourous jobs. Like, you even take that, like a guy who's been a brickie his whole life. Take a guy who's been his brickie his whole life and he's doing a repetitive task. He's going to have more strength than the average woman because he's exposed to more lifting. Yeah. Now, a woman and a guy that's exposed to that same thing, I guess genetics play an argument in that, but biologically, there's a male component that happens, right? So that person then transition, doesn't matter how much estrogen she gets put on, how much test blockers she gets put on.
She's already built a bigger base.
She's got a strong foundation that's going to play to her advantage. And this is where I understand that you want to be seen as a woman now, right? But honestly, I do believe it needs to be its own category because of that pun. Because I then think, like, genetic, but then I also get the argument as well, because it's saying, right, well, you'll never be a basketballer because of your genetics. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. Like, it's like, oh, you're no, like, I'm not saying you need to be, but
fucking no chance.
Aye, the average height in NBA is like 6'7", 6'6", right?
Aye.
So genetics do play a part in sports as well.
Yeah.
So powerlifters, for example, like if you are 6'7",
you're
fucked, right? But that you're then better to go down the strongman route, for example. Right? So it's a weird one because you get into this, but there's a reason there's a female category and there's a reason there's a male category. Mm-hmm. If we start doing transitions and all this, I think we should bring
males will smoke the females.
So I've heard Joe
absolutely.
I like Joe Rogan stuff, but I also think it is very like caveman-y and fucking.
I know. I've actually heard that. It's a red flag if
you listen to Joe Rogan.
I don't actually listen to Joe Rogan, but when I watch his stuff, I go, I don't really get where the red flag stuff comes
I see
from.
the clips, but I think if you listen to it, it's just like smoking a joint and it's like, oh, let's see where it's going, right? But anyway, so I've heard him bring this point up, which is fair. Like, what happens when you go into fighting sports where you're inflicting physical damage? So we spoke about last time how enhancing your body from a power standpoint, taking steroids, and what that does to your physical output for power. You're put in a ring where you're fighting against someone else and you have potential to do life-threatening injuries, if not killing someone. What happens in that realm? That's where, like, there's a South Park episode and it's fucking brilliant. So the guy is trying to compete as a strongman.
Yeah.
And he can't get any titles. He doesn't win any fights. And he's like, fuck it, I'm now a woman. And he puts on a wig and he's like, and it's just typical South Park humor. It's hilarious. Like, I think you need to be, like, as much as it might be insensitive to sometimes, it's still fucking funny, right? Humor's hilarious, right? So he starts going in and he's smoking all these birds and he's like, he's like, yeah, I'm the man. I'm sorry, I'm the woman. It's just funny the way they play on it. And then there's this woman, she's like, that's not fair. And so they're like bringing this like balanced view in this. It's an interesting perspective to have. But then the woman starts training harder and she starts going and she beats him and it's like this fucking celebrity story. And I'm like, I don't know how you would feel. It's hard because it's with the roles being reversed, it doesn't quite play in the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think for women who transition to men to compete in men's sport, do they have the same advantage? And the answer is no.
No.
But then there's a component where they need to take misogynistic, what's the word I'm looking for? Like synthetic
Hormones.
Steroids, hormone boosts. So they, in a way, they'll have an advantage compared to natural men.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the whole thing, the simplest answer to me is create categories.
I get what you're saying there,
Like, it's almost like why there's natural bodybuilding and then there's no unnatural bodybuilding, but they just don't speak about it. And this is where free markets will dictate the thing. So, like, I think women's basketballs, which is controversial now, so they're getting a lot of heat because they're trying to push more people. No, they're trying to push more people to watch women's basketball, and there's a whole
just like it was with
because they get paid like a huge amount less than what men's do, and all this sort of stuff. But the free market is dictating that. In a way. Now, more marketing can go on.
That's another subject.
So like, right before we go on that, what's your thoughts on it?
I agree. Like, you're no a full-scale woman in that respect. You can't, like, you're not a biological woman. You weren't born a woman, so you can't. Like, the rules should be, you need to be born a woman from birth. From birth.
But there's a reason why there's so many names and
there's a reason why the best man in the world will be better than the best woman in the world at 90% of sports.
And the best woman in the world will be better than a huge majority of men as well.
But the best man in the world will be better than all the women in 90% of sports.
But this is where it's like body types and genetics play its part. So it's like, what is the sport you're talking about? The strongest man in the world will not beat the strongest female swimmer in the world, right?
No, but I mean at the sport.
That's what I mean. The sport,
the
sport matters. This is when it comes back to the whole fucking argument.
The man will always win if he's the best at the sport in the men category compared to the women.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
They will just always win because it's just genetics. I'm saying men are better at sport in life. I'm saying they are better.
Because you need to look at sports as well, and sports is physical for the most part. Physical skill, athleticism, however you pronounce the word.
It's also mental, mate. Like, men have an advantage of staying on track. Men have an advantage of being more competitive.
You think so?
Absolutely.
So I would say the mental part's where the challenge is different.
No, the hormone for competitiveness is testosterone. It's testosterone. That's the reason why you get 10 men in a room. I know 10 women in a room are just as competitive, but they'll be like, I'm going to beat him. No, you get 10 women in a room, they'll be like, I'm better than her, but it's in a completely different fashion. And it's because of the hormones.
When you draw the conclusions to it, those women have higher testosterone output to that, which I imagine. Yeah. For you guys got different there. For you, put 10 women in a room, he's just talk about. No. I'm joking.
Genuinely, testosterone, and when you look into testosterone in a more heavy fashion, and that's when it's just, see when like women are like, look, they can win. They can't beat the best man on the planet. Because the best man on the planet has the highest testosterone, has the best leverages, has the best mindset. It's just that they have an advantage in that sport every single time. And it's just sheer genetics. That man has no menstrual cycle, so he has the ability to keep pushing through.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that women are better at in sport. Most sports, men will be better just because of sheer genetics.
Yeah,
and it's the same as men who are better than me. They are better than me because they have sheer genetics to beat me. Plus, they are fucking so hardworking at the same time.
Yeah, The thing back to sports with me is there's a physical component, there's an athletic component, there's a skill component, and from a biological standpoint, there's different outputs, which is why we categorize it.
Yeah.
So when we start messing about with our hormonal makeup profile and changing your body or whatever, changing your I don't even want to say gender, because gender means so much just now. But why do we change pronouns? Why have we got so many different pronouns for how people are, right? It's because you want to be seen as that person, whatever if you want to identify as non-binary or whatever it is. Then if we start going into sport, why do we not just replicate that? If we've already accepted that you want to be named in a particular way, like a pronouns, they, them, whatever it is, then there should be a category for that in the sport, instead of going,
but there would need to be enough money to be able to
exactly. No. Yeah, we get to the point which leads on to the basketball point. The free market will dictate what people want to watch.
Yeah.
Because there's more eyes and more attention, and with more eyes and more attention, there's more money to be made, right? So this is where politics comes into it for me, and it's like, well, why don't we just create the categories and let free market dictate? Because if it's that,
but that's how it always was until now.
But that's why that's
where it's changed.
It's because the federations are now forcing, and so the other side of this as well, the federation, I believe, should be able to do whatever the fuck they want to do. They're a private company. When it becomes government saying that this needs to be forced upon you, that's where I draw the line. I say, I wee bit disagree. Like the government says, you need to put a mask on. You need to do X, Y, and Z. That's where I don't believe. For a restaurant to say, look, if you want to eat in our restaurant, you need to wear a mask to be in here. Cool, I'm not going to go here. And then if that restaurant keeps thriving and their business keep going, cool. But if they don't, then they're going to change their policy, aren't they? Because at the end of the day, money's the fucking driver. Or they'll stand by their integrity and go, no, I strongly believe that we have more sickness and illness and the mask is a fucking extreme example with that. But for that thing, for the federation to ban the girl, as much as I don't agree with it, I think if she's speaking out on her opinion, which she's got a very valid point, and I agree with her valid point. However, she's also choosing to have her world title in that federation. And this is where I think if it keeps going as hard as that, where federations go, no, you must accept this person here and do that there, what's the free market going to do? Some cunt's going to sit down. Some cunt's going to sit down and go, you know what? We're going to create a federation here. We have a different opinion to there, and free speech is a powerful thing. We should all have the right to be able to speak our own minds and thoughts, and this is why, as much as our podcast can be controversial sometimes, I'll never not hear the opposing argument, because I agree that my opinion is an opinion, and I'm always welcome to the challenge, because I'll be wrong in some things, maybe wrong in this subject. So you have somebody who sits down and goes, you know what? Don't agree with that opinion. We're going to set up our federation, and we're going to have male, female, men transition to women, women transition to men, and then that might explode up into other things. The free market will start to roll with that. And if there's enough support around people who are born as a man and want to transition to a woman, then what category are they going to work? If they truly support it, they're going to watch that category. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's the same as the body, the body positivity movement. It's like people want to see inspiration of people with the same shape and size in them. So I understand why they're put on the front covers of magazines. So then there's a category here and it's like, oh fuck, look, forget the number. Look at the number one competitor in that category. That's inspiration to me. Yeah. It's not, they can beat men and they can beat women and whatever. Like the argument becomes null and void at that part. Aye. We get to the root cause of if you're born in and you're not happy with the skin that or the gender that you're born in, you can transition and you are then inspired by somebody that's made it in life. If in this instant we're talking about powerlifting, to me that seems logical, but I don't know why there's so much controversy around it. And it's no, I'm not saying I don't accept that person that's a man that's now becoming a woman. It's like okay, you weren't happy with it. I do accept that you're now want to be seen as a woman. I wouldn't
accept them in the women's category.
Aye, that's what I mean. It's like, but that's my whole point. How can you say that doesn't play a part in your advantage?
Big time.
So that's my stance on it, and it's mad that somebody's get banned from it, but the person being banned,
I don't know what they said, because they said something outrageous.
Aye, like that's where it's maybe a wee bit different.
Aye, no, that is I don't know what they said though, but banned for 2 full years for that.
So and again, I think as long as the private company chooses to do whatever they want to do, so be it. Take your stance on whatever it is you want to do. It's your organisation. It's up to you what you do.
Yeah.
For government controls, where they say, oh, we're banning cigarettes and we're doing this. This is where there's a fine line. It's like, because how many times have we got it wrong as a government?
Fucking
Don't
loads.
eat fats. Fats are bad for you. Sugar's bad for you.
Yeah.
Carbs are bad for you. Protein's now bad for you. That's where it's very dangerous because...
But there has to be some narrative that's outlandish at one time.
Aye,
it needs to be outlandish.
Aye.
Because see, if it's not outlandish, it's not going to catch attention. It's not going to make people change their minds.
But that's where, look, you might not like it, whatever your stance is in a subject, whether you're for or against it. These big companies that play into it, it's like, oh, we're doing this. They're doing it from a marketing standpoint because they want more money from you.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's what it comes down to, right? For us in our level, we might have more empathy and sympathy and a wee bit more integrity to stand by our points. But ultimately, if I have £1 billion that's coming in and out of my business and it's massively shifted because I don't have a fucking trans person in my organisation, what am I doing as a CEO? I'm going to actively look for those types of people, and that's where it gets a bit sad.
Yeah.
We done it. This happened in BT and OpenReach, right? I don't know. Fuck it, I'm just going to say it. So they, as board members, I think like this goes way off fucking topic, but the pay gap between men and women and how it's different and all that sort of stuff. So in BT, predominantly board members were all male, right? So there's a big push to bring more women into the senior management side of things, and they were purposely hiring for the senior management thing, which okay, there's more of an attraction for trying to get people into that role. But I kind of had a thought on it, and I was like, is that not a bit patronising, like for women in a way?
Mm-hmm.
If you're sitting there as women, you're like, if I got this job because I was better than every candidate, or if I got this job because I'm a woman. And I don't know the answer to that personally, right? I appreciate as a white man, we do have a wee bit more privilege than majority. No, you do, but you need to. No,
I know that. I say that all the time,
right? The whole walking out at night and all that sort of stuff. It is, and as much as it's a wee bit of tongue-in-cheek joke, I understand that, and I can't. I can have an opinion on it, but I can't honestly say how I would truly feel.
Don't get me started.
But you know what I mean? Like, there's businesses out there that now try to actively hire an Asian person, a Chinese person, a black person, a white person, and it's trying to get this balance of ethnicity in their board.
I don't watch normal telly, but when you watch
so polluting,
the advert comes on, and it's a white woman and a black man, or a black man, a black woman, a white woman every time, and I understand it.
I understand, but we need diversity.
You can tell it's forced.
Yeah,
you can tell it's no. Oh, we just cast them because they were the best actor. They needed to cast that.
Mate, take Marvel for example.
The script has to be, we have to have this, we have to have that, and you're like, you can tell when you're watching it. You can tell that they were one of the best actors. You can tell they just had to put the two together. And I get it, because it used to be all white, this, and I get it. But then it takes it, and I was actually going to ask you a question, but we'll keep talking about this now. But where do you draw the conclusion where the authenticity dies and everybody knows? That's
what I mean. Is it like, is it what is the point? Like, what's the intent behind it? Does that truly inspire the woman or the young coloured kid to go into acting because they see another black person? I understand that side of things, but does it truly do that if we start manipulating it and playing about with the strings at the top? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Does it end up pushing out people who are the best? Because does it end up going the other way?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I know companies that being in a senior managing role and working with high performing individuals talking about previous experience in their companies and hearing stories where like they have purposely hired someone just because of they've done it to brought them into the organisation because they needed to meet a quota. That's fucking mad to me. That's worse than the whole just, I don't know. Like, I think to me that is because we talk about discrimination. Don't discriminate who is. Hire the best candidate, but make sure they're X of colour or they've got X disability and all that. And I'm like,
that's discrimination. The other way.
Now the disability ones I can get behind a wee bit more, because if you compare somebody who's abled to disabled, the able person has more advantages, right? They can hold a cognitive sentence, or they can write and they can work at a quicker speed. I don't think the person who's disabled or more mentally challenged shouldn't not get that opportunity as well. but but then it's at the end of the day, it's like,
is that not the same though?
aye, that it is.
That sounds the same to me as picking genders or colour, or colours. You know what I mean? Like, you're saying that they've had an advantage. Well, the person who's better already has the advantage.
I know, but like, how then do we just say that people with X disability can't work?
No, I get you.
You know what I mean? Like if you put that person up against somebody,
but then I've no doubt that that's the exact same in the gender aspect as well.
But when it comes to gender, or take race for example, which is a lot more complex.
Yeah.
A white person and a coloured person sit down and go for a job interview, and they're both like, in a way, history matters and upbringing matters, and that matters from two people with the same colour of skin to like what various different things, right? There's a diversity component with that. You could argue that both can end up being the same skill level, yeah. But you take one person who doesn't have a disability and one person who does have a disability, there is a massive, there is a component that the person who doesn't have a disability will outperform the person with a disability.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but I'm saying if you're like taking, I don't know what, I can't even think of a disability that would come to mind, but that's not fair in that category of people who then are born at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
They should not be held, that should not be held against them, because it's out with their control.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. It's fucking, it's very complex, and it's very, like, people all get touchy with them, but I don't know, so many different routes that you go down in this that you're just like, what the fuck?
So the thing that I was going to speak about next is women's sports are getting bigger, but it's because it's been pushed hard, right? They know. Yeah. No, but it is.
Aye.
It is. There's
well, there's
so many guys. I read the comments to the football things. I don't watch football, right? And it's like they're pushing women's football on like Sky Sports, and it's all guys commenting saying, "I don't want to see this shite." No, but it's mate, it's like
it's ruthless.
It's ruthless as fuck, mate. And then that's when you're seeing the actual majority don't want to see this, but it's been pushed heavily after.
Aye,
politically. But I'm saying I'm not saying that I don't even like football. I don't really like guys football. I don't like women's football. Couldn't give a fuck. I just don't like football. I don't like mace sports, to be fair. I like lifting. But where does it become, when there has to become a point where they're going to have to stop pushing it because there's going to be some amount of backlash?
Well, I'll tell you.
Where does it end up? Because obviously we see like more and more women getting into the gym and they're loving it, right? And it's fucking amazing to see. But where does this rise actually, the authenticity of the rise of women's sport, like, stay?
So I'll bring up something now, but so it goes back to my point, free markets. Sky Sports should be able to do what they want. If they make the stance to choose to say, look, we're going to support women's sports and we're going to do a campaign and push this more on your TV. Cool. I think it's fantastic to get a wee bit more exposure on women's sports, because you've got these fucking men that are like, oh, fuck women, blah, 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 Andrew Tate lovers of the world.
Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
like, I don't want to see these fucking women. And then there's more of an exposure for maybe young people getting into sport, and they're like, fucking hell, this is quite decent. This is quite class.
Yeah.
If that's the case, more people will still have a Sky Sports membership. If it's not, less people will pay for it.
Yeah.
What will Sky Sports do at that point? They will change, because there's only so much funding and money that you can get. So the free market, let them do what they want. Ultimately, like, if it works, great, we were wrong. But if it doesn't, they will change.
Yeah, I get that.
So it's the same, like, we want to see freaks as people. We want to see the best of the best.
You want to see the best of the fucking best.
Whether it's women,
Americans especially, they don't even support them. They just go to all the games.
There's a reason why natural bodybuilding isn't as big as the open bodybuilding category. So I was talking about prices and money the other day. So this is where it gets controversial on that front. The open bodybuilding, I think they won like 400,000.
400k.
Second place won 100k. Third place won 50k. CBum this year won 50k.
Did he?
That was it.
Aye.
Arguably, he's the one that's driving the bodybuilding. So every sports thing, it's political. It's fucking, and it's just because that's the way that's been done.
Everything's politics, to be fair.
So Disney took a stance on something and then backtracked because they lost billions in terms of share price. Right. And I think it was the whole fucking Little Mermaid shit, and they were changing the history of stories rather than creating these new things. Now, again, it's up to the company to do what they want, but there's a company who took a stance on something.
You
Seen
getting
them,
up?
I can't find what, I don't even know what I would type in. But to your point on that, like pushing, I think in one hand, like for us growing up, what do we see in TV and what is it we're drawn to? It's the men in the sports and that. And there is a point that, like you said, as a biological component that's within in the male DNA, we're going to be more driven towards that.
Yeah.
Right? So when we were growing up and I can't remember seeing football teams and that sort of stuff. So why, if a girl growing up, it's like, oh, I wish like for me, in fact, let me do a comparison to basketball, for example. I loved playing basketball. Fucking loved that sport. Fortunately, technology gave me the ability to watch American sports. I didn't like football. I was alright at it. But I played basketball and I practiced in my garden. I played and played and played. When we played basketball in high school, smoked everybody, right? Nobody could come close. And I remember thinking to myself, man, this is shite. I wish I was born somewhere else that had the privilege with more basketball teams about. So then flip that to the girl that plays basketball or plays football. And it's like, man, there's no girl football teams here. Yeah, so I think in a way, we shouldn't be disadvantaging girls or like, because arguably there's more guys team than there is for girls. And I think that's maybe the thing that pushing the girl market in sports is going to do for them.
Yeah.
But to push it and say, no, you must watch this, that's not going to happen.
Aye.
It's not going to happen.
And
the guys commenting on them, by the way, don't have girls for kids, by the way.
Because probably do.
Nah, do you think so?
Oh, aye, mate.
They'll be horrible fathers.
They don't give a fuck.
They'll be horrible fathers.
My thinking, like,
it's also like fucking very caveman type way thinking into it. It's like stuck in the past, like, oh, you just did dishes and clean and all that.
I'll look at it and I go, I wouldn't watch that, but I would never comment it.
Nah.
I think commenting it is like, it's showing you're a fucking dick. Do you know what I mean? There's like no need for them to comment, I would never fucking watch this. But it's like you've got, what's that American football player who's fighting for equal pay for the American football teams for men and women?
Oh, I didn't know. I've not seen that.
Have you know?
No.
So she's massive on it. She's got pink hair. I can't mind her name. You probably have seen her, but she's fighting big time.
Right, okay.
For equal pay for the men and women.
For what?
For football.
American football?
No, for the American team.
Soccer?
Male team.
Soccer.
The American
football.
actual, like, the international team.
Right.
So she's fighting, and I actually think she's got it, and there's a big uproar, and you're like, I can't really understand why they would get paid the same.
Pay is interesting because I think if you base it off percentages, it's a win-win, right? Every percent, so say an organisation is making
you're getting
100
paid
million.
Exactly what you should.
So I believe the percentages should be the same for the top teams and the lower teams. There should be a standardisation of what they do.
If you make this, you get paid this.
So NBA, the winner of the playoffs, the team gets paid X, the players get paid X, depending on how many scores it's got. The winners of the female NBA equivalent of the playoffs, winners get X percentages, so on and so forth. But it's all politics, man. It's honestly what it comes down to. So Disney there, 900 million in terms of box office flops. 900 million they've lost by doing these changes, by changing the story of
slightly,
whatever it is. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Now Disney made some fantastic new films, like in Encardo. I watched that not too long ago. I was like, Encardo is like a bit it's like Spanish heritage, and I was like, this is class.
I think I've seen that.
It's so good, singing the wee songs and
that. I don't know if I've seen something.
You've probably
like
seen the
Spanish
songs on TikTok and whatever, right?
Right.
So that's what I mean. It's like, why are we trying to change history and quieting stuff that's happened in the past and not just creating new experiences going forward? So I don't know. I don't know if we're actually fixing the root cause by what we're doing by trying to push it.
That's my thinking. Or by pushing this so hard, like as hard as they are, is it actually going to help it? Or is it going to fall flat on its face at one point when everybody actually comes out and goes, we don't actually make any money because we've fucking spent it all?
Yeah.
Is my thinking. Because as you said, there's only so much funding that would go into this. Like I see female powerlifters and I go, they're fucking lifting a lot of weight. But then you see the guys and you're like, holy moly, that's even more insane. But powerlifting's not a money sport. So they can, like, powerlifters, male powerlifters aren't making that much money, and they're a female powerlifters. So that's why powerlifting, you can look at it and you go, there's just as many female. Well, there's not just as many females, but the females is just as popular as the males because there's no much money in it.
Aye.
So the free market, as you said, but as more money gets put in, usually the male market will dominate because that's where the freaks are.
Aye, but it's also politics as well and how that money is distributed and that sort of stuff. Like who's bringing more, who's bringing more to the sport, who's getting more of a social following, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So politics is
Crazy.
so crazy and complex and just weird in a way. So I don't know when it comes to sports though, like you said, like if you look at the powerlifting, I think the answer is just create categories. Because why should someone who's born as a guy that transitions to a woman go like, I fucking love lifting, I love getting strong, I want to compete, I want a competitive outlet, for them to be told no? Like, you know what I mean? Like that to me, that's where I think I was like, that's sad, but put them in a category then. Honestly, like where they're competing against others born with similar circumstances, and then it's going, holy shit, look at the output of, because we can go, what's the heaviest bench press in the world for a woman, and we can find a number. What's the heaviest bench press for a transition man to woman? You find the number.
You can still find that.
Like it becomes, oh fucking hell, look at that.
Aye.
But I don't know. Good question though.
Aye, mad. It's mad.
Cancelled again.
Aye.
Honestly, I would love to hear. I'd love to hear if anyone
really
listening.
Think that's very. I don't actually think it's. I think that's only controversial if you're living under a rock and no understanding what's happening in the world.
Yeah, I think you need to. I think it's maybe, but I think that's a bit naive for us because we're in the health and fitness space and we can see the differences between. I've got girls who lift more than some of my guys, but
no, I know.
Mainly the time I've got the guys are stronger, so we can see the physiological component of it. Aye. But it'd be the same argument if you've got. Well, it's the same argument with disabilities. Think about it. We've got the Paralympics.
I know.
We don't have the normal Olympics because they're born with a disadvantage. So we need to accept that there's advantages and disadvantages of being born.
An Olympian can't. Oh, that's actually quite mad you said that. Aye. So it was the Spanish Olympic team for. Can't mind what it was. Basketball. They competed in the Paralympics and smoked everybody.
Why?
Because they wanted to win. Because if they won in the Paralympics, they got more funding for the normal Olympics.
Oh, right.
So they all hatched up an idea. They put some Paralympians and some Olympians in the team, and they smoked everybody in the Paralympics.
But it's hard because it's like going, how many categories do you create? Like you said, if it's like your pronouns and stuff, right? So it's like how many categories you create. So you have 100-meter race with people with one leg, 100-meter race with people who have 1 foot. You know what I mean? Like there's then advantages and disadvantages to. Have you seen the documentary on the guy who had the springs, the blades?
Yeah.
And he wanted to compete in the main ones because he's like, it doesn't give me an advantage. They've showed like how much pressure in that, but. It's so hard to draw a line.
But like you don't have the specifications.
Aye, how do you know it does and it doesn't? Because fatigue kicks into the joint of the ankle. So if you don't have an ankle, then it's like, how can you say that? You know what I mean? So it's hard. I get the drive. I can only imagine the drive for somebody to tell me, no, you can't compete in that side. But my dreams to fucking, my dreams to want to. So I guess I don't know. I find that. I'm not in that situation, so it's easy for me to just go, no, you can't, you need to compete in that category. And it's like, well, so what?
Aye. I think that's where some logic needs to come into the play at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You go, this is what you need to be. If you don't meet that, then...
But this is where, like, rather than a gold medal or thing, let's just put everybody together, see what happens. You know what I mean? See, for the women, it's like, I feel I can smoke that guy. Put them together.
They put Serena Williams up against the 212 in the world for the men's.
Oh, I've seen that.
And he beat her.
Yeah.
And she was the best in the world.
But I think she knew that as well. She knew
that. She wasn't expecting to go out and smoke. She understood. And I think it's always the same. The people who are really good at something understand everyone who's really good at it as well.
Yeah.
Aye. They know what's happening. So whereas somebody who's not as good, they'll be like, oh, I can do that. No bother.
So here's the other level to this. Military, right? War, all that sort of stuff. Have you seen the SAS, celebrity SAS clips that came up with, what's his name, Ants?
Is that where they kept the trans woman in?
Yeah, so he said, season 1, They just went, we're going to follow you about, do what you want to do. Season 2, it's like, fucking excellent last time. Just going to do the same, follow you about what to do. And they were like, oh, let's change the lighting here and let's kind of shoot there. But there was raw footage from season 1 that I think I might be butchering.
No, I remember
season
watching
1
it start, you're like, oh my God.
to season 5.
They are fucking getting abused.
On one of the last couple, it was like, oh,
this is what we need to do.
you need to say that black guy can be in and that Asian woman can be there and then it was the story of the trans person. He says, I don't give a fuck about colour, race, skin. I don't care about anything. There is a pass mark.
Who's the best?
Aye, we need to. It was like one of the first things where you were running with a rucksack in your back. And he goes, I'm not testing physical ability. I'm testing mental willpower.
Aye.
And these people didn't have the mental willpower, so I dropped them from that.
Mhm.
And I got a phone call, and the phone call said, you need to let that person in. And he's like, I'm done. I'm not doing this show anymore. So to me, that's where politics comes into play.
Oh, aye.
Because that's the TV production side of things, try to please an audience.
But again, what does that do to the as you said, that doesn't do anything good to the person who got let in, because they go into the real world and they get the real world and they go, fuck, I am not that good.
Aye. If you're raised being saying, told you yes
You're the
to
best,
everything,
you're the best, you're the best.
You're raised as someone who isn't ready for life.
Aye.
And I don't think we can keep fucking tiptoeing around it. I think we need to draw lines and conclusions to some things. Now in the SAS, for example, it's going right. People, I'm not, and this is the wrong thing that I'm saying here. I understand this, but people who are transgender, we can't have them in the same category. For this, we need to create a whole new criteria because there's differences of the individuals that have. Or was that just one person?
No, the
like,
thing
why
is,
have we tarnished one person as a whole trans community, right?
Aye.
It's going
the thing
right.
is with SAS, who there's wins, anybody can win it.
Hmm?
Like, they put the men up against the women fighting boxing.
Aye.
And they'll say, smash her. I mind watching one, and the guy smashed the woman. And I was like, whoa.
But also I seen one where the girl kicked the fuck out of the
Aye,
guy. And I was
aye.
like, Jesus, because it's
one
life,
of them, the guy-
it's life or death at this point.
Ant said to the guy, don't hold back. And he took it literally, and he smashed fucker. And I was like, whoa. What are you doing?
Aye. Have you watched any of that?
I've not watched it recently, no.
So I ended up seeing all the clips for it, and somebody asked the question, what's like the maddest thing that's happened? And he goes, we blindfolded everybody and we put them on a bus and we're going to take them back to the studio. So we kidnapped everybody, then a kidnap scenario, right? So we all drive back to the studio, and they're all put on a bus with two cameraman and the bus driver, and one of them get loose of their handcuffs, and they thought this was part of the thing. So they hijacked the bus back, they won the bus back, and so they didn't know all this happened. So they went back to the studio and they're like, they should have been here an hour ago, where are they? And the guy phoned, he's like, you're not going to believe this. He goes, we've lost them. He's like, how the fuck have you lost them? He goes, they've hijacked the bus and took them back because they thought that was part of the experiment. So they were like, we can't even give this guy a row because he's done what we wanted us to do. But that shows class. I'd love to do something like that.
I used to say that, but I couldn't go in it because of my asthma.
Oh, really?
You're not allowed to enter it if you've got asthma.
Interesting.
So there I could go, oh, yeah, fucker. And then I go in and go, I'm fucked.
But there's like an example to my point. Like, that trans person has been told, no, you didn't make the cut. Rather than going, oh, let's just bring them in, surely that would be more inspiration to trans people are attracted to.
I'm going to get
that's like, fuck, you know what? I'm going to be the person that beats them.
Aye.
It creates drive, like saying yes and fucking pussyfooting everything and driving.
It's like genuinely getting rejected. What do you do?
Aye.
Some people, like, they fall into the
So
mud.
we just said the hard times. You need the hard
or
times.
some
to
people
create the
go,
good times.
I'm going to fucking get that next time.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? And it was the same no matter gender, what disability, whatever you are. You'll go, I'm going to fucking win. The person who will win will do that.
I know. So listening to us here is two white guys, right? Two fucking male testosterone driven individuals. Honestly, I'd love to hear if there's anything that I said there where you disagree. Please reach out, because I want to hear, I genuinely want to hear the opposing view. I'm going to leave a poll up on this one in today's episode if you agree with it, yes or no. Just if you've got the time, just click that button. I'm just curious to hear, are we alone in these thoughts? Because it's rare, like, I'll challenge you in some things, you'll challenge me in there.
Yeah.
So it's hard when we both agree with something to hear the opposing view with it.
Aye.
Just be interesting to hear.
I think we would disagree on a couple other things, but like,
Aye.
I think in today's world, people don't understand that we're all different.
Aye.
We're not actually the same. Yeah, we might be equal, but a big guy is going to fucking destroy me.
Hmm?
Do you know what I mean? Even as a man, a big guy is going to fucking destroy me.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? And he's going to fucking destroy everybody. And
Wait,
then
there's differences, but it doesn't mean like it's hard to get equal because we're not all born equally.
No,
we're all born
so different
upbringings and that.
So
and
fucking
we just
different.
need to embrace the differences.
Aye.
When it comes to sports and all, it's a wee bit more complicated because there's money involved in that. But some people will be able to train every day in the sport of basketball and they'll never make it as a basketballer because the circumstances that they're given. But why let that define your life?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, why?
Do you think the way people are brought up, like man or woman, like, so say back in the day, it was obviously like we live in a world where equal rights are getting pushed more and more, which is a good thing, right? But back in the day, it was very much a male-dominated world, right? Do you think that because back then it was a male-dominated world, a lot of women have turned out the way they are? Or do you think that that's just...
So what do you mean, like the upbringing of...
from like, obviously 50, 60-year-olds, they were born in a very, men do this, women do this. Do you know what I mean? You watch like adverts for like 2000 or 1990 and you go, fucking hell.
Environment matters.
Yeah.
And if we start changing the environment, we're going to have a different outlook in life.
Yeah.
So if this is the battle just now, just let them in. Just fucking, there doesn't need to be a pass or fail mark. Just let them go. Let them compete. Let them do whatever it is. So if we try and change that environment, we're then brought up thinking, oh, you can just get that in because of your ability or you're told yes. So that if you're brought up thinking that way, it's going to affect your mindset and your outlook.
Yeah.
Meet anyone's gran or granny, right? If you're about the same age as me, born in the 1930s, Jill's gran, before she passed, was brought up in the environment where she could say the N-word. And the N-word was a colour, right? Outrageous to say in this day and age. And she said in a supermarket, she goes, oh, that's a nice colour of N brown. She said that out loud. And I was like, what the fuck? Right. So there's privilege and there's an environment part that plays, but it doesn't mean we should be stuck in that. We should change for the better. We actually should change for the better.
The reason I ask this, right, is because something I train and my stepmom, pretty similar women, right? The way they work, their demeanour, how people see them, like people are scared of them in a work environment. They're like, fuck man, don't why fuck we are. Do you know that way? It's like, but they came from a pure male-dominated environment. But when I look at them, I go, severely similar. Like, they both do the same jobs in their work, right? But they're both viewed by the workforce the exact same way.
Right.
And I look at them and I go, fuck man, like, I'm fucking scared of you a wee bit. But back then, it was actually the opposite. So how have they ended up...
How have they got through that? You mean,
how have they got through that? And the way they are now, they're so fucking hard.
I think we're all shaped by our life experiences. And I think that's why you need to go out. I would say common things in both them would have been exposed to some sort of difficulty, some sort of adversity, where maybe by luck or whatever it is, they were faced with an option to either give in or go, you know what, no, I'm going to fucking push through this. And those little opportunities throughout life. I mean, we done the episode on how to build confidence. There's a reason that why we're two confident individuals.
It's like two small ladies.
Well, with them as well, they've exposed themselves to those traits of the tough times and sticking to what they said and, I don't know, purpose and drive. And it's very hard to get into, but I think all of that matters. Mm-hmm. All of that matters. And I think that's why with times we can't be stuck in this old fucking racist way or like this old male dominant world where the women do all the cooking and the guys do this. But I think we need to accept that some things we're going to have limitations on from both sides.
Yeah.
Right. But with other things, we can change. We can absolutely change if we're accepting that people are truly born and not happy with the gender that they're born with and they want to change. We've created an option where it allows them to change. So society in a way does need to adapt to. There's not just male and female sports. Let's create other categories to give them the spotlight of inspiring maybe a younger one. But see when it starts being pushed upon, it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to push this on us?
Yeah.
I don't agree or I don't, you've got your opinions and that's fine. It doesn't mean I'm going to like you less or more. It's just I disagree with that stance. If you're a dick, I don't care what colour your skin is, you're a dick. You know what I mean? There's a film called The Gangster and in the film the guy's boxing and a guy calls him something and he's like, it was like, you're black, such and such, right? And the guy goes, you gonna let him call me that? You just call me a black such and such. And he goes,
Yeah.
well, you're a such and such, and you're
black.
And you're black. And I was like, that's mad. Like, we get so caught up in, like, oh, you need to call that person by their names and whatever, and you can't disagree with them. And it's like, where do you even draw the line with racism's a whole different fucking conversation to this. But living in Scotland, I guess we're not exposed to it as much as the rest of the world, and a wee bit grateful with where we were born, because in America it looks fucking mental. But back to like the whole pronoun conversation and all that, it's like, why are you forcing upon me? Why do we not just try and educate the space rather than, no, you need to do this?
Yeah.
So, I don't know about you, someone tells me I need to do something, automatically I'm like, nah.
Because see, we're like...
guilty until proven innocent.
So I go, you need to call me she, what do you do?
You say that?
Yeah.
I'd ask why. Why is that so important to you?
Why do you need to know that?
No, but...
why do you need to know that? That I feel that's what I want to be called. Why would you even ask me that?
But then back, but it's then back to you. It's like, but why should I do it then?
But why would you know? So if I say, oh, my name's James, call me he, and you'd be like, you wouldn't ask why. You would just call me he, him.
No, I wouldn't. I'd say why. I'd call you James.
Right, cool.
So I would, but that's what I mean. It's not that I'm trying to offend you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I'm trying to offend the person. I just truly want to understand why. And in all honesty, if you did transition and you done something, you say, look, for me, it'd mean a lot, and I wouldn't find it respectful if you call me anything else. I'd be like, you know what? I respect you as one of my closest friends. I would do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's more about the person than the character. It's not about the name. It's not about the pronouns and that. It's about, I have true respect for you as a friend. Don't care what colour, skin, demographic.
Because we're living in such an extreme world now.
It's extreme.
Where does it go? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know if we are, or we just, what do we click on the most? The most extreme video.
Fair, you look back at like,
how many people do you know that have
really extreme?
How many people do you know that have that true opinion? Like you said, it's few and far between.
Who?
Like about, we need more trans women competing in female sports. That's fine.
No, but I know a lot of people have the opposing opinion of that.
What?
Big time. Like they're hard on that.
Don't let men who transition to women.
Aye.
But that's what I mean. That's logical.
Aye, no.
So that's why I think we do. I think this conversation's it's skewed because we see the most outrageous thing on social media, and we think everyone thinks that way. But I think logically, I'm glad that there's no that many fried people in the world that are like that. I think there's a lot, but no as many as more logical people.
Aye. And that's where social media is destroying everything.
Yeah.
To a degree.
It is.
Because we've actually had this
had
this conversation, we think about it, a lot of people do have similar opinions, but social media will make you believe it's opposite.
Look at religion. When you think about it, they don't accept gays.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
big time.
One of your best friends is gay.
Yeah.
So think about that as a scenario then, similar to someone
that
who's
changes your
transitioning.
opinion as soon as you know somebody like that. So, like, if I was running a bit, like, if you're friends with someone who was transgender, your opinion would probably change very quickly.
That's what I mean. So it's shaped by your environment.
Yeah.
And I think in one thing it's good to talk about, it's good to understand. We just honestly, more human beings just need to be more empathetic. We just need to listen a wee bit more to the opinion that's been brought up, rather than having our backs up and going, don't you fucking tell me what to do.
I
like the guy comments, how do I see this shite? And it's like, well,
exactly, you would never do that. That's no nice.
We need to, it needs to be a level of respect.
Some act of kindness as well.
You know, because if you lead from a place that you end up, like, you would never became best friends with Tony, for example.
No.
But it's not about who he fancies. It's about who he is in his heart. That's who you like. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there's a reason that you imagine you had this answer. Nah, I don't like gays. I'm not speaking to gays. Nah,
I know.
Screw that. Unfortunately, we're in a world where people still think like that.
I know.
Now, you talk about generations, like our mums and dads' generations. When they come out gay, you are burnt.
Aye.
You know what I mean? Now
they still semi-think like that.
They do. They absolutely do.
It's like ingrained.
Aye.
It's ingrained in them that they still a little bit of confusion.
Aye. But now we're in a world where it's more accepted because it's came from the young age coming up. Now, I don't want to drag this out any longer, but them introducing allowing people to transition at a younger age coming up. This way it becomes a whole new fucking ball game.
Fuck, man. We know, that's... We'll cut it there.
It will not go down that route for
No,
today's episode.
no.
Do that when we take mushrooms and see what comes out.
I know, I'm glad we've got this conversation today.
Aye.
Because if we'd done that mushies, oh my God. Oh my
I
God.
don't know, like I'm very, in a way, kind of passionate about my opinion with it. Not that I'm right or wrong, it's just this is honestly how I feel. Please somebody challenge me if you don't agree with it.
I'm big on it.
Because I can't see the opposing view. I've tried to challenge myself.
Aye.
I've listened to some opposing arguments on it. I'm like, you know what? I understand that. The argument that I can buy into is like, if I don't see anyone who thinks and feels the way I do, I feel lost and lonely.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, oh, you know what? You're absolutely right. We need to have the category
opposing
created.
opinion as well, though.
Because true.
You've got to have an opposing opinion to yourself to go, oh,
I can see the perspective.
Yeah.
Right, on that note, let's wrap things up there.
Aye.
Enjoy today's episode.
Aye.
We'll
Bye.
never see you ever again.
Aye.
This is the last episode of Bulletproof Mindset done.
Nah, that wasn't. I thought that was quite good.
But ultimately, that's how you build a bulletproof mindset.
You need to, because I wouldn't say I'm less opinionated, but than I've been, but I'm definitely more open to hearing other people's opinions. I definitely get my back up less.
We all shy away from fucking difficult conversations.
Aye.
Like, think about family dinners.
You think about it, me and Gillian, when we go head to head.
Aye, but yous are both confident in who yous are as people, that you'll go, I don't think that way, I think like this.
Aye.
It's like, it's no that...
And I don't mean anything bad, but it's like, we don't...
Just because you don't agree doesn't mean you need...
Dislike each other.
Aye.
That's the biggest thing in this day and age, though.
Aye,
as soon as people disagree, they go, I don't fucking like them.
You're a cunt.
I don't fucking like them. I'm going, no, they just don't agree with my opinion. Like, that's cool.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
Aye, doesn't shape your...
If you agreed with everything, if I agreed with everything you said, and you agreed with everything I said, and I agreed with everything Gavin said, it'd be pretty fucking boring.
It'd be miserable.
Boring as fuck.
You need that conflict in a way.
Aye.
So, enjoy that. Disagree more often, right? Find people with the opposing argument. And
that's actually in Stephen Bartlett's book, Disagreeing.
Disagree with more people?
Yep.
I like it. That's a fair point.
Aye.
That's a fair point.
That's it.
So, enjoy the rest of your day whenever you're choosing to listen to this. If you enjoyed today's episode, if you didn't enjoy today's episode, maybe don't do what I'm going to say next. But if you did enjoy today's episode and you haven't already, consider leaving us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you choose to listen to this. We're closing in on 100 reviews, and it would mean the world to us if you haven't already to give us that. It's completely free to do as well. If you haven't, you can just click on the wee 5-star rating. And with that being said,
have a nice one.